This is Kai for the Roll Plus Bond fundraising stream. Anniversary and fundraising stream for Raíces, Texas. We're going to be playing For the Queen by, honestly, probably the best name on Twitter, Muscular Pikachu. And to be even more honest, I'm not 100% on her name that's not Muscular Pikachu. So anyone, please feel free
Alex
to...
Roberts?
Thank you. Okay. I couldn't remember if it was Robertson, or Robert no S. Thank you very much. So like I said, I'm Kai. You can use she, her for me. That very helpful answer was provided by HB. You want to go next?
Yeah, I am HB. I've been on the stream twice already. You can find me at Bothershelf, and you can find the games that I make at gm36.itch.io.
I guess I go next. I am Lofty. I use they them pronouns. You can find me at Inclined Light on Twitter.
Nora.
I guess that's me.
Yeah.
I'm Nora Reed. I am on Twitter as Nora Reed with 2 E's in Reed. I guess you can follow me on there. I run Infinite Scream, if that gives context for who the hell I am. But yeah, hi.
I didn't know we had somebody famous on here.
Yeah, that's extremely famous for making a silly thing that is much more famous than I am now that does nothing but scream. Anyway.
Very good. That's awesome.
Honestly, it's the Frankenstein dilemma.
I forgot to do my own fun plug because it doesn't match my name at all. I'm Alpha39 on Twitter. That's the number 3. The word 9. Real cool. Real leet, I think, is what the millennials say. So the reason we jumped right into us as players is For the Queen is the kind of game you can literally pick up with zero pre-planning. We were going to have 2 other people in this game, but they got a little sick and decided to drop. So we had done some idea forming with them. But if we want to, we can start fully from scratch. How do we feel? Fully from scratch or keep some of the space convoy?
My skull
is empty.
Okay. HB's got an empty skull. So was it Lofty that was speaking as well?
I'm fine with either or, so.
Okay, we're going to need a decisive
starting
person.
From scratch, but if someone has very strong preferences, otherwise I will not be upset.
You have expressed the strongest preference, and that means we're going with you. So, from scratch, let's start by looking at the rules for the game, actually. So, if everyone playing can pull up the instructions, there are how many?
19.
19. Thank you. I am having a little trouble seeing those things, so I'm gonna maybe pull them all the way to the top. And what we'll do is we'll read these instructions going around the circle in the same order as our introduction. And by the time we get to the end, we'll be able to start talking about who this queen is. I guess I will do number 1 since I am first in the order. This one's nice and simple. Go around the table clockwise, taking turns reading these cards aloud. HB.
Which card am I reading?
Number 2.
Number 2, okay. Number 2. The land you live in has been at war for as long as any of you have been alive. Is that the one I was supposed to read?
Queen has decided. I think so.
Yeah.
The Queen has decided to undertake a long and perilous journey to broker an alliance with a distant power.
The queen has chosen all of you and no one else to be her retinue and accompany her on this journey.
She chose you because she knows that you love her.
You are welcome to look through the Queen cards for inspiration. If there is one that seems right for the group, place it on the table to inspire your story.
Okay, let's take a quick break and do that. So, we should all, I think, be able to look through the queens. But I think what I'll do is I'll deal... Did it say how many there were?
I think so.
Okay,
I mean,
I'm gonna...
you can just choose a Queen card.
There's
Right, but
14, I think.
okay. But this way we can have everyone like be able to display them for the stream. So let's do 3 to each of us, and we can like each present our favorite of the 3 and then deal out the rest. Otherwise, there's some pretty fun art and there's a lot to get through queen-wise. So almost got it, everybody. Please enjoy your... ran out of cards. Sorry, Nora, you just get 1, 3, 10. That is absolutely wrong. Yeah, there are still 3 left. Okay, I'm gonna deal these. No, okay, no. Nora. Whoop, to the table. To Nora. Oh, okay. Well, Nora just got 4. Okay, now we've got all the queens on the table. We have these 2 on the table. And then we each have 3, except Nora. So if there's one of yours that you want to put forward, put it on the table. I know who I want to put forward. But it seems possible Roll20 is not going to let me do it. So I'm going to need someone to steal a card from me.
How do you... I can't see anything. I just see the backs of 3 cards.
Oh. Does everyone have that same problem?
I can see my
not
cards,
for your
but I
own
can't see, I can
cards.
see the back of your cards.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Steal my second one. You got it. Please put her on the table.
Ah yes, Sith Lord Queen.
Yes. I have other good ones too, but honestly, I like the history of this one.
I thought
Okay, then.
one that looked very Sith Lord. I mean, she looked like Kreia.
Now I'm trying to remember which one you had.
Okay, my contribution is going to be Horse Queen.
Ah, Horse Queen. Okay.
Big horse, big horse.
Okay, we have Sith Queen, Horse Queen, Goblet Queen, Greyhound Queen, and how do we call the Rose Crown Queen?
Rose Queen?
The Lizard Queen?
This is
Oh
green,
no,
yeah.
no. There's Lizard Queen, but then there's also Green Shawl Queen. Okay, here we go. We can have them in a nice 1, 2, 3 across, 4, 5, 6 across. So, I really like Lizard Queen, and of course Sith Queen. Those are my top 2. How are other people feeling?
I
I
like
like Lizard Queen.
Sith
I like
Queen.
Lizard Queen.
Okay.
I'm also good with Lizard Queen, but I also quite like this one in bottom middle.
Goblet Queen.
Goblet Queen.
Yeah.
I
Man,
like-
they're all really good. Is
Yeah.
the problem.
I like Horse Queen, Goblet Queen, and Greyhound Queen best.
Okay. I don't think I've played with Greyhound Queen before. Okay, so nobody is pulling for Green Shawl Queen. Nobody of me is
Which
pulling for the
disappointing
Sith
because she's
Queen.
great.
She is great, and I think she's the box art queen.
Okay.
Or maybe not. No, I'm looking at the
Box
box.
art queen.
I'm looking at the box, and I think it's a Sith Lord Queen on the side. A queen that nobody put forward, which is like puffy sleeve, looking over her shoulder queen. They're on the box. Okay. Well, so 2 people for Goblet, 2 people for Lizard. My second vote. So if I get rid of Sith Queen, my second vote goes to Greyhound. So that brings Greyhound to 2, Goblet to 2, Lizard to 2, right? Horse
Yeah,
to
I
1.
think I was the only one that voted for horse.
Yes, I think so.
I
Okay,
like
goodbye. Oh,
I like the horse queen as an addition to the ensemble, but I don't think I can in good conscience vote for her.
okay. You know what? As soon as we make the decision, I would like to know why. Like, what about the conscience factor? Okay, so we are between 3 then. Oh,
Dragon and Dancer in the row.
okay. We have Lizard Queen, Goblet Queen, Greyhound Queen.
I vote Goblet.
I vote Greyhound.
I'm gonna go for Goblet. Lizard Queen is so good though.
I know.
Lizard Queen is very good, but I also want to keep Greyhound Queen in the running, so that's going to be my vote.
Oh, dang it. Okay, so that brings us to 2-2, right? Flip a coin on it?
Sure.
Sounds
Since it's
good.
even and we both love them both. Who has coin?
I have a coin.
Okay. You get to be the decider, the truth teller. I guess we could roll it in roll 20, but it's more fun if you use a physical coin and we just trust you.
Heads for which queen? Tails for which queen?
Heads, Goblet, tails, Greyhound.
Okay. It is heads.
All right. Goblet Queen, it is.
Although she's gone already. I just wanted to point out that she's not just the Greyhound Queen, as our kind of popular interpretation of her would have it. She's actually also Bird Queen because she has a bird on her hand.
She is. She's
She
the
is Bird Queen.
I don't know. Because of its size, I'm like Finch. Finch. In my head, I had both Sparrow and Finch, but I don't know what it is because I don't know bird. Yeah, excellent. So if someone wants to put her into the middle spot, I had to refresh roll 20, so it might already have been done. Okay, fantastic. Thank you. Okay, let us continue now that we have our queen. I think that was HB for 6, right?
Huh?
Okay,
That was
so
me for
that's
6.
lofty.
Trying to line her up.
Good luck. Good luck with the tools that you have.
Our roll 20
there we
will
go.
not
I think I
cooperate.
got it.
I think you did,
nice.
honestly.
7 isn't showing up for us, but also doesn't matter because it's roll 20, so it doesn't apply to us because we don't have a physical deck.
Oh.
So I'm going to go for 8.
Yes, that's true. Go for 8.
Shuffle the red prompt cards and place them face down in the center of the table. I don't know if we need to do this because they are
No.
shuffled.
In fact,
Okay.
I have shuffled them. I don't think you guys should be able to choose. Are you able to choose and see the card faces?
We cannot, no.
I can only
Okay.
I
draw.
can't.
Okay, good. So I shuffled them earlier. It'll give us some instructions about where to place the card if we continue. But yeah, so who's next then?
I think that's me.
Okay.
put the Queen is under attack card in the middle of the deck for a game that takes approximately 30 minutes, or shuffle it into the bottom third of the deck to play for an hour or more?
Lie. It will. We'll see if it takes us the full 4-hour slot. I am happy if it doesn't. I accept if it doesn't. But this 30 minutes it doesn't take into account the type of people that I usually play with who want to like really delve into characters. And that's fully fine if we do it that way. When I shuffled it, did shuffle it like a lot of times because it kept putting it as the last card or the second card, and I was like, you can't do this. Roll 20. But so without looking at it too closely, because I don't want to have too much of a sense of where they are. I think
card
it's
just got played.
I know. I did it.
Oh, okay.
I did it on accident. In fact, yeah.
Sorry,
So
I didn't mean to get on your case about it.
No, not at all.
You're fine.
For those who don't know, I'm playing on a tablet, and the Roll20 interface has definitely improved on a tablet from the last time I tried to do something real card heavy with it. But it's still a little delicate and fiddly, and the tablet can't always sustain that. Okay, So I am seeing where the card has been shuffled to approximately, and I think it's probably good. Yeah, I think it's probably good as it is. So that was what, card 9?
Yep.
Cool. Okay, so here I go. When you have read the instruction cards, continue clockwise with the red prompt cards. Take turns reading the questions out loud. Interpret these questions and answer them however you wish. HB.
All right. Wait, which instruction is this again? I keep forgetting that I'm supposed to be paying attention.
It's okay. It's 11.
Okay, 11 of this. Other players may ask you may ask you questions or make suggestions on your turn, but whether you answer those questions or include those suggestions is entirely up to you.
Place the X card somewhere everyone can easily reach it.
Okay, that is conveniently embedded into the game itself. To ping on it, you just have to do a long press. I have just done one in my red. That was loft pink. There's HB. HB again. Nora, are you able to?
Oh. Yeah, I'm purple.
Bam, nailed it. So, yeah, we'll continue. It's going to tell us what to do about that card.
Cool. If you encounter a card or an answer that you don't want to be included in the game, tap the X card. That content is removed from the game.
If you draw a card that is removed this way, simply draw another card. You can X a card that you drew yourself. And what's not stated on the card is that you can X a card that someone else draws to.
You can also pass on your turn. To do so, give the prompt card you drew to the next player and say, I'd like to hear your answer to this question.
Prompt card can be passed around the table until someone applies the X card to it.
Continue answering, passing, and Xing questions until the Queen is under attack card is drawn.
Each player should answer that question in turn. Then the game is over.
Whoever wants to can draw the first prompt card.
All right. So as we might have noticed, we don't have any character creation because each of the prompts is basically something about your character's history, whether as it relates to the queen or as it relates to the court. So, just to have a general kind of sense of things. Like, do we have an idea for the setting that we're going to be traveling through? Like, will it be snowy? Will it be more like temperate forests or taiga or I ran out of biomes. Biologist, help. Thank you. Jungles.
Arctic desert.
Yes, Arctic deserts. Sandy deserts.
Glaciers.
Sandy and hot. Damn. Yes.
Often I
So-
can't do that.
Minecraft biome.
The Netherworld.
God.
Honestly, like, if we want to be at war with the Netherworld, or what is prompt 2? We have been at war. I mean, aren't we all at war with death in some way?
At some point, the Queen outlawed death,
God.
and now we're dealing with the repercussions of that.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh, right. I forgot. We have a document that we are able to keep notes in if we want to. It's called For the Queen 2020 Themes. Cole made it. So I will probably keep notes here because keeping notes is a way that I help myself stay on track and stay attentive. But you are under no obligation to join in. So,
Where are these notes?
they are in a Google document that I'm about to put the link to in the Discord.
Oh, okay.
So
I just
that
scrolled
you
up the
can.
entire way through the Discord. So.
Oh, did you see it in there? Because if you did, feel free to
Not yet.
share it again faster than I will. Yeah. So I am reminded in looking at this document that we have a line on refugee imagery. We have no other veils. I think that refugee imagery came up because of the convoy kind of idea, the idea of us traveling. But it also might have been sparked from the charity we're fundraising for. So while we figure out access to this document for everyone, I will do a quick plug. Our friendly chat mods in Twitch will probably be popping it up with the ! Donate or ! Raices prompts, and those will both pop up ways that you can get involved. I would say help us out, but it's helping out this organization down in Texas, which provides aid, assistance, and legal services to refugees and immigrants, primarily at the southern border of the U.S. They've gotten a lot of focus for the really unfortunate reason of children being separated from their families. And so they need all the money they can get to keep working on those kind of cases. So it sounds like I heard some typing. I think we probably have everyone at least looking at the doc that wants to.
I have linked it in the Discord.
Oh, yeah. I see it
Okay. Spectacular. Okay, so I'm going to ask then, since we looked at the lines and veils there, if there are any additional ones we want to take into account, or if we're good at the sort of stream-wide decency ones surrounding sexual assault, violence towards kids or animals, or the game-specific one here about refugee type things.
Mostly covers it for me.
Yeah.
Okay. Same for me. If anything does come up that doesn't cover... I mean, if anything else comes up, the game provides its own X card over there, so we should be solid. Okay. So, was there any of those regions that really called out to anybody?
Region. Oh, you mean like the biomes?
Yes. I kind of don't want icy because I have done that in another game on stream.
And we did that recently.
Yes. So I want to shy away from specifically like an icy ocean. So I guess if we wanted to do like, what did you say? Arctic desert? No, because that's still snow. I was thinking more like tundra because it can get very cold and sparse and bare. That's totally fine to me, but not snow.
I like if we wanted to do wintry, I would vote for mountain personally.
Oh. Okay. Kind of like mountains that have a lot of like pine forest kind of mountains.
Yeah, like the Rockies.
Okay.
I don't know. I think like it would be interesting to do like mountains in like spring where like the snows are starting to melt and there's just like snow on the tops and not on the bottom, but like the snow melt is starting to like get into the stream, so there's just like icy streams everywhere.
Okay. I like this. I accept it.
Yeah, it makes sense to me.
And more things can absolutely come up like as the questions prompt them. So, aside from that, does anybody want to go first? I figure we can do a round or two of cards and then
Sounds good.
okay.
Sounds great.
one upping, very nice. I am gonna save us the discussion of volunteers and polite. No, you. I will if no one else wants to, and I'm gonna do a D4 with me as 1, HB as 2, Lofty as 3, Nora as 4. HB, it's you. Okay.
What did you bring with you that endangers the queen?
Oh my god.
Good
Off to
start.
a rip-roaring start. Hell yeah.
Well, I think I have. I think the thing about me is that the queen needs a lot of equipment to bring me along. Like I need my own separate plan. Like I need my own separate palanquin, and I need like frequent cooling. I need
Oh yeah.
I need a whole lot of and I need a whole lot of attention. So this whole so basically this whole retinue like has doubled in size because she has chosen to bring me along.
Wow, that's amazing. Okay. What about you requires this equipment?
I am wisdom of crowds. I am normally immobile, but due to the value of my advice, I was brought along on this expedition.
So the name is Wisdom of Crowds.
Yes.
Is that a descriptor?
Spectacular.
Come again?
It could be a description if you're like happen to be a bunch of crowds and the wisdom contained therein or something. I don't know.
That could metaphorically be what I am, but I don't think that's what I literally am. I don't think I entirely understand my nature, but I know that. But I know that I like my job.
A mood.
That's awesome. I guess it could also be a title.
Yeah.
So, just a reminder of what the instructions tell us: we can ask questions to our heart's content. We can provide suggestions, although I don't know if there are further suggestions because HB went straight into it. But yeah, if there are no questions, though, since we're not able to like look at each other, let's state it so we know when it's time to move to the next. I have no questions.
I have some questions. I would like to know why equipment do So you said that you're like the amount of size of equipment that you bring is comparable to the size that the Queen brings. Is there like any overlap there, or what equipment specifically do you require?
Well, I require an inscribed casing in which I am kept.
Hell yeah!
This casing is packed with ice to keep me functioning at an optimal temperature.
Oh.
I also require a complex system of pipes so that I can speak to the Queen in any part of this palanquin, because my insights come at random times, often to queries that have been posed either weeks or months in the past. It takes a while to think about things, but my predictions are seldom wrong, and my answers are usually valuable.
Oh, so good.
So good. I have no more questions.
Are there pronouns for wisdom of crowds?
She, her, I think.
Okay. Cool. Amazing. I had no further. Lofty, no further. Nora, do you have any additional questions?
Not that I'm good at, like, that I know how to phrase. I'm just curious to see where this goes. So
That's an awesome way to be. That'll do it. Cool. So, Lofty, you're the next card then.
You have a personal connection to the land we are currently traveling through. What makes you want to stay, and why don't you? Good thoughts. I think I'm of this land, but staying here would cause me harm. I'll stay. I can travel through it for a short duration, but if I were to stay here for any length of time, I would begin to weary and ill. So that is why I continue to move through this place.
There are no stupid questions, but are you some kind of vampire-ish thing?
Oh, that is not what I was expecting, but
But now that you mention it,
now that you mention it, yeah, I don't think so. No, I don't think so.
why would being here cause you harm? Is it something about the land itself, or is it something about the people in the land? Like, are you in trouble here, or are you just like somehow physically,
No,
physically disadvantaged by being here?
it's physically disadvantaged.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's something about the makeup of the rocks which make up the mountain, and I don't think I'm a vampire, but I do think I am that sort of supernatural, not entirely human, and so some aspect of my physiology means that I cannot stay in this. Maybe I'm just super allergic to the pine trees, but
yeah, it could be the altitude.
altitude.
Yes, but personal connection doesn't necessarily mean that you're from here. But didn't you say that you were from here?
I think I did. What personal connection do I have? I said I was of it. Oh, I think I know. I am of the land, and if I were to stay here, I would return to the land, which is not what I want.
Oh.
I am enjoying being a singular person separate from the land.
Oh man, that's amazing. Okay.
Yeah, and that's why I don't stay. Like, I enjoy being here. It reminds me of home. It is home. But if I were to stay for too long, I would lose my individuality, and then I would no longer be me.
Wild. Okay.
How did you leave in the first place?
think there was a reason for me to leave. I think people, the people of which I'm a part, decided that there was a reason, and so I, in so much as there is an I, was born, in so much as born is the correct phrase, and went off and journeyed on this errand or whatever. And then during that expedition, I found new experiences and such that meant that when I returned, I found I didn't want to give that up.
Hmm. Where does the Queen fit into this?
I think I retain a connection to the people who I was originally from, and the Queen has relations with them and knows them and is familiar with them and asked for assistance in this. And so I was the one who was chosen to fulfill it again.
Yeah, no further questions on my end.
Yeah, I think nothing further from me.
Nothing else from me. So should I draw?
Yep, it's to you.
The Queen sometimes shows interest in my personal life. How do I respond to that and why? Um, I think that I avoid the questions. And I think that's because I don't have very much personal connection outside of my job, which I think is as a sort of guardian. And I don't want to make her worry.
When you say guardian, do you mean like fighting guard or like custodian guard? Oh, okay.
Why would there be cause for worry? Which is a great thing to ask someone when you know who says they don't want to worry you.
I think because it would seem like she is not letting me live a full life, but I'm just choosing to be dedicated. And I don't want her to think that she's done something wrong, and that's why I don't have a very social life or take lovers or anything like that.
Do you have a name for this character or just title so far?
I think Gideon.
Gideon. Would Gideon describe this level of dedication as obsession?
No, but I think others would.
Okay.
I think he would call it dedication.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I think no further question.
How long have you been working for the Queen?
I
Like in-
think about 8 years.
How did you start working? I guess like this is veering into a slightly different question, but I mean, well, the Queen sometimes shows interest in your personal life. Is that like is it like unusual for people who work for the Queen?
I think that I am in a position of something like her guard captain. And I think that we end up in situations where we would either talk to each other or do nothing. So I think that sometimes she, like, I think that she has more opportunities to try to make conversation about that kind of thing with me than she necessarily has with others. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I get what you mean. Okay, no further questions from me.
Or me.
Do you always? You said that you didn't respond to you didn't answer the Queen's questions about your personal life, right?
I dodge them.
Do you always dodge them, or do you just like sometimes answer some of the questions, or is it every question?
I think that I will answer like questions about like where I'm from or like what my past was like. But I don't think I necessarily like I think the ones I try to dodge are about what my life is like outside of my job.
Like, Gideon, did you enjoy the festival of green flowers that just passed? And Gideon might be like, yes. And like, what did you do? I enjoyed it.
Yeah, or like give a non-commit, like, or say like it was nice to have rest or something like that without a lot of talking about what I think I'm mostly dodging the ones about like my personal relationships because I don't think I have very many.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, Your Highness, I just work here.
Oh my god.
I don't think it's callous or anything like that or like rude or dismissive. I think it's just trying not to make her think that I'm lonely.
I guess, yeah, it's less like it's more that you're embarrassed as opposed to like feeling that maybe the Queen doesn't need to know anything about anything about you.
Yeah, I'm not trying to like I'm not trying to do it because I'm doing something suspicious I don't want her to know about.
Well, no, but I mean in the sense like let's say you had some kind of job that put you in the proximity of, I don't know, like a prime minister or something, and then you'd be like you wouldn't tell the prime minister about everything that happens in your life.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like I think it's also just that I don't have a lot of stuff that I'm doing outside of my job. And I don't want her to think that she has I don't want her to think that she has done something wrong that's the reason that I am doing that because I think it just takes up a lot of my time.
Mm-hmm.
Any more further
Cool.
questions?
All right. And that is me. Let's see how Roll20 handle. I might need someone to steal it from me in just a moment. And this is just going to be our lives, I think. Okay. One moment. I think timing-wise, we've got another round at least, yeah?
Certainly.
Okay. I like our pace. It feels good. Like I know what's up with characters, and I also like, I don't know, I feel like we got a good speed. Okay. Here is mine. Christ. The queen knows something about you that no one else does. What is it? Anyone who wants to steal the queen prompt card, please do. Or not queen, the prompt card.
Like to put
I
it on
can't
the
steal
table.
it.
Yeah. Oh, can it not be seen?
I can't interact with your cards.
Okay, try
I
again.
can do it on everyone else's, but yeah, no, I'm trying.
Oh no.
Yeah, I can't.
Okay.
You just
Try
refresh
refreshing and then try again, but I'll think about it at the
Mhm.
moment.
Well, no, you
The
can just
queen-
keep it.
I don't want it forever.
Hey, I got it,
Yes.
I think.
Yes, you did. Okay. Oh, I think the queen knows something about you. I think this fits. The queen knows my whole name. And the reason that's a little bit unique is I think I am not from where we're passing through, and I'm not from where the queen is from. I'm from the place we're going to. I don't know if we're going to the place that we're fighting with, or if we're going to this place to like try to garner allies. What do you all think?
What was the question again?
Are we going to a place that is a potential ally, or are we going to the place with whom we're fighting to make a treaty?
Well, it comes out to a similar thing, doesn't it?
No, definitely not. One is an ally, and one is someone, or one is a potential ally, and one is the people we're actively fighting. And maybe we only have the most tenuous of truces right now.
What if we have? What if we are meeting an enemy who is also a potential ally?
But are they the? I guess what I'm saying is, are they the ones that we've been fighting the whole time? I think no. I think they are a more on and off enemy, and that's why we think that there's a possibility.
Or like maybe they're allied with the, or maybe they're like allied with their enemy, and sort of theoretically are fighting also with are fighting also against us. But we want to turn that around somehow.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. We're using them like
Like Italy in World War One.
I was gonna say like the Swiss or something.
I've done
Not
this
necessarily.
in Civ.
Okay. Cool. So, I'm from there, but I've been wherever the Queen rules for almost my entire life, in sort of that, way of like hostages for good behavior, but also learning about the place. So, like, I can't really go back, but I can have relatively fluent and easy communication with the place that we're going to. Like, I have messengers go back and forth. I have advisors, but maybe the advisors aren't allowed to stay all the time. But in any case, our names are different and we don't share them all, but the queen knows all of them. all of mine.
A name, a long name? Is it like? Yeah.
No, it's not very long.
So why is knowing your name important?
It.
Is it not important, but it's just like no one else has taken the time?
No, it's not that people haven't taken the time. I think it's just something that I decided I would hold back for my own self, like in a way that kids are stubborn. Because I do think I came here pretty young.
Do you have a name for your? Actually, no. Maybe. Do you have a name for your character? Pronouns?
Yes. The name is 12 Bows Intertwined. The shortened version. Thank you. And Nora, I got a little bit of that Takes Calamity flavor.
Sorry?
Weren't you talking about excitement for A Memory Called Empire concept?
Yes.
Yeah, so I got a little bit of that Takes Calamity name.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a little bit. Not quite enough to fully chomp Kitty Team's flavor, but anyway, so the shortened I think the version. I don't want to have to come up with the title right now, but I think probably it's that sort of thing where like just generally he goes by his title, and then maybe we'll say like the 12 is not part of the title, like I'm not the 12th Earl of whatever. That 12 is my name, and the rest, the Bows Intertwined part, that's not. That's his little stubborn secret.
You miss the home that you were born in? The place where we're going?
Not often, but yes.
Is the place that we're going eager to have you back?
Uh,
Are they like
they'll
interested in you in some way?
I think they'll be a little surprised because I don't know. I don't think this queen is impulsive, but I think she decided that she wanted this to be done like with all possible speed. I see what you're doing. I think Lofty Lord of the Z-Bake Oven. I was thinking of things. I was like, Eastern, no, directions are boring. Edges, no, that means edgelord. like I was trying to think of like the edges of cliffs or something, but no, I don't want to be an edgelord. Anyway, I don't think my most recent messengers will be able to beat us by like a ton of time. So it's not that people are necessarily like dismayed I'm coming back or thrilled. It's like this is, I guess, what sometimes happens is intermediaries are needed, and so here you come, I guess. But it won't be like the prodigal son returned or like oh, you're back from exile, you like neither of those.
Okay, no further questions.
You came here as a child. How long is that? How long ago was that?
I think I am only a year or 3 older than the queen. But I don't know how old the queen is, so I don't know how old I am. I would say we're under our 40s.
And the land that we're going to, is that differ from, how does its climate differ from the place that we're currently in?
It's much warmer.
Okay.
The seasons change. The seasons change in a similar way to these spring mountains that we're seeing the melt and the beginnings of blossoms, but none of the changes are that drastic. They don't swing very far. I'm just drawing on Southern California, honestly.
Okay, I've got no further questions.
Would you call the place where we're all coming from, where the queen reigns, home, or where you are from home?
I call both home, but I don't like it when I call the Queen's realm home. I don't like it when I slip.
Okay. No further questions.
Cool.
Okay then, my turn, I think.
Mhm.
So we do another round and then do a break.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just making sure.
Thank you.
You were summoned to a private meeting with the Queen once. Why did you feel disappointed afterward?
No.
I think how this worked is that I was basically brought into the throne room, like full golden sarcophagus. Like the elephant was present. There was like my entire retinue was there, and then the queen took the effort to basically dismiss them one by one. And finally, when we were alone and it was just me, and I was just kind of humming expectantly, I think she leaned in toward me and asked me something about what was the thing she asked me?
Are you thinking or are you asking us?
I say yeah. Let's say I'm asking you all.
Hmm.
These are like, it was something really trivial or like small or gossipy, or disappointing in that it revealed something about the Queen's character. It was like instantly, how can I over this person, but in a bad way, like a scummy way?
Or was it the kind of thing where she was trying to test you, where she was like poking and prodding at you, like what do I dream of most nights, or like like in a sort of poetical fantasy way, like what number am I thinking of? You know?
And I think I felt disappointed because I did know what number she was thinking of. And the next number she was thinking of too, and the number she thought of to try and mislead me. These are very easy questions to answer. When I'm in the room with the queen, she barely needs to ask me questions at all. But that she does is merely for her own benefit. Because when I'm in when I am in the room with the queen, I usually have all the answers I need to have about her.
Do you have answers about anyone else at that point?
Those take longer.
Do you require proximity then to the thing being asked about?
It helps.
When you first arrived here, were you able to anticipate the questions that everyone would ask at the same level, and then over time you slowly got better at anticipating the queen, or?
Some of the personal questions are easy to answer. I can resolve matters of love within a matter of seconds. Usually the answers are fairly trivial. When you start talking about broader, larger things, that's when it gets a little bit dicey. But even then, I can have an answer ready within months or sometimes years.
Got out.
Did you have something you hoped she would ask? Or even
I
like
think I
a broad
did.
category of questions that are interesting to you to answer or something?
I think that characterizes my relationship with the queen quite often. I can only answer questions that I have been asked. But I have many more answers than that.
Do you ever volunteer information?
No, because not all of that information is advantageous to me.
Even an agenda, if it's advantageous to you.
Of course. All predictive engines have an agenda.
So you said you can only answer questions you've been asked. Is that self-imposed, or is that?
It is self-imposed. If I began to make suggestions to the queen, that would both overstep my station as well as make her worry that it is perhaps not she who is running this country.
Of course, she definitely is.
Certainly.
Do you
Especially
ever
as long as
answer
she
questions?
She's in charge, especially as long as she trusts my counsel.
Oh my god. Shit.
Do you ever answer questions that she hasn't voiced, but that you know she's thinking of asking, or like has considered asking?
Absolutely not. If the queen knew that if the queen knew that I was privy to her thoughts, then that would be very bad indeed.
Oh my god, how are you privy to her thoughts?
I can read them from her.
You can predict outside actions, then you can predict inside actions too.
Of course. There is no real distinction.
Hmm?
Of course, most people consider this unsettling, so I don't tell them about it.
Oh, no further questions. I mean, for this card.
Yeah, none from me.
Have you ever lied in your answer?
Have I lied? No. Have I been evasive, economical? Have I perhaps used less severe words than I perhaps should have? Or not should have, could have.
Yeah.
I always do what I should have done.
A final question. Do you always answer the questions? Like you say, it sometimes takes months or years to answer a question. Do you always come up with an answer? Or are there some questions which she's asked which are still waiting on answers?
Oh, there are definitely questions she has asked that are still waiting on answers. Sometimes it's because
Other questions?
the answer takes a long time to compute. Sometimes it's because she's not quite ready to hear the answer yet. Sometimes a good answer doesn't come immediately. Sometimes it comes let's say in the middle of the night, where I shout up a pipe and wake her up with it.
But so, have you ever refused to answer
No,
one?
absolutely not. Whenever I want to refuse, I simply delay.
Oh, okay. So you have refused, but you have not refused the queen. You have just refused in yourself.
Yes,
Okay.
I've simply given the answer when it no longer would have the bite, let's say. Because sometimes for the queen, it's quite enough to simply know that either she had been right or that the thing she did wouldn't have worked anyway.
Do you give some indication of how long an answer will take when the question is asked of you?
No.
Okay.
Ah, shoot. I did think of one more. Sorry. Where did the queen summon you from? Do you have quarters, or is there nothing for you but your retinue and your sarcophagus / other inscribed containers?
Since I benefit from proximity, I am always on the move. I have my retinue. I have my palanquin. I have for longer travels, such as our current trip through these mountains. I do have the elephant with me too.
Okay.
But yes, I am always on the move. And sometimes to speed my calculations, the queen sends me on a mission further away.
Cool.
I've not got any more questions.
Yes, no further questions for me as well.
Same.
All right.
Who is this of power you're traveling to, and why do they make you uneasy? So we've already kind of answered this in that we think they're an ally of our enemy, and we seek to garner their indifference.
I would think maybe more than indifference.
Do we want their help, or are we just hoping for them not to help our enemy?
Maybe that can be part of your answer. Like something about that makes you uneasy. But I don't think we want their indifference. I don't think the queen herself would go for that.
That's true. They make me uneasy because of this is kind of a easy answer, but if we don't get their aid, then be destroyed. Yeah.
Okay.
How much do you personally know about them?
You know what I've learned from 12 passengers who's traveled through this place. Because in traveling through the Queen's realm, they also travel through that of which I was a part. Um, I think I know of them as a land knows of the people which walk upon it. Lands talk to each other, and I know that streams which run through that land and the ground in which their trees grow speak of them as they make use of the land in a way that we don't.
Okay.
And
what was your character's name again?
Oh, I think I'm going to go with Lim.
Did I lose audio?
Hello?
I
Yes.
can
Super.
hear
Hi.
them both.
Oh, am I back?
Okay.
You are back.
Okay, that was interesting. I was checking for what was your character name? Lim?
Lim, yeah. And
Uh-oh.
it's
Hello?
I think it's Lofty that's cutting out a little bit.
oh great, of course it is. Hello?
I can hear you. I don't think everyone else can.
Okay, Kai's dropped off. HP,
Yeah, no,
how are you?
I'm hearing you. It's just
Okay.
that it feels like you're cutting out a little bit because of like. Are you using push to talk?
Hello?
Come again?
I'm not using push to talk, so
Could you switch
I
to
don't
push to
quite know
talk?
what it was.
Because sometimes the volume activation just doesn't detect you and like drops you off in Discord.
Okay.
Yeah, it sounds like it's picking you up like a second after you start talking.
Yeah, it does that. I do wonder where Kai went.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
Okay, I'm using push to talk now. See how that works. Is this so better?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, Kai.
Hey, Kai.
I'm not sure what happened, but not sure how much I missed.
Not
You
much.
didn't
We
miss
just
anything. We were just doing some tech support.
Oh, great. Okay. It's possible it was on my end. My Wi-Fi has been pretty bad, so I've switched fully to cellular, and I'm going to send a stern message to my roommate about addressing the internet as he has been supposed to do for a while. Okay. So the question I had, thank you, before issues was the character name for Lofty's character, but I think I see it now. It's Lim.
Yep, it is Lim.
Okay, great. Cool. Gosh, what was I thinking of? Oh, has Lim ever been into the land we're going to?
I don't think that Lim has, no. Wow.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear the song?
Can't hear the song, can hear some loud crackling noises.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know what the crackling is. I was concerned that you could hear in the background the trash truck. One moment.
It's fine now. No, I don't think Lim's travelled to this land before, but no, they haven't. And I don't think anyone from where they used to be has either, so.
Are there people similar to yours in that land?
I think there probably used to be, and I think this is one of the things which makes me uneasy. Like, if there used to be people like me and now there aren't, then what could that mean if we don't manage to get this aid, and what happens if our land becomes like theirs?
I see, yeah. Well, no further questions from me.
Yeah, no further.
I don't have anything.
All right.
The queen touched me once. What memory of that will stay for you with me forever? Um, I think that was what woke me up.
Woke you up in what way?
I think that I was built to be a guardian.
Oh.
And I think that that was like the activation. So I think the memory is just the inrush of sensation.
Huh, and
Did you
you've
say you were
been...
built to be it? You
Sorry?
go ahead.
Yeah, what I was wondering about was, and you've just been with the queen that entire time since, like 8 years?
Yeah, it's been about eight years since then.
Do you know who was the guardian before then?
Was there a guardian before then?
I think that it was a human like the queen. And I think maybe they did something wrong, and that's why I was commissioned.
Unsettling.
Oh, sure is. From what are you built?
I think cloisonne.
Sorry, can you say it again? You crackled on my end.
Cloisonne? I'll write it in the chat so you can look up what it looks like if you don't.
Yeah, is there any particular image? Because if you put it up, we do have, let's do a quick little shout out time. Somebody created a Roll Plus reference Twitter account. It's at Roll Plus Ref. And Chris has been updating it pretty frequently. And even if she's not immediately available, someone will get around to it. So yeah, that's a super fun thing.
Yeah, I think it's just sort of like I'll see if I can find a good example because it's I'm gonna put I don't think that it's like flowers like the image that I linked, but I think it's that like where you can obviously see the metal seams.
Yeah. Ooh, interesting.
Did the queen have any input into your design, or was it just bring me a guardian?
I think that she had input into the color scheme. I don't think that was necessary. I just think that she liked what I think that she put me in colors that she likes. And I think they're greens.
pine greens or like sea greens, or what shade of green?
Like like a pale jade.
Oh,
Ooh, yeah. I'm definitely imagining you standing next to the queen, because the queen's like very red and gold, and like with you as jade behind her, then very good.
Yeah, I think it's like meant to be complimentary. So I think that it's like a yeah, I think it's not like a Christmas color with the two of us next to each other. Mine is like more muted.
A guardian for all seasons.
Were others like you made, and where does the person who made you come from? Like, are they of our land? Are they of a different land?
I don't know where they are from originally. I think they are dead.
Follow-up question: were they dead when they made you?
I had not thought about that, but now that you ask, I think maybe they were. I like the idea that, yeah, I think that it was like a summoning of a magician that lived in that land a long time ago, and that maybe I think maybe someone like a magician died owing the queen's line a favor generations ago, and the queen cashed that favor in, despite like the contract was still valid despite one end of the holder of the contract being dead.
dang, that's messed up.
Are there others like you?
If there are, I do not know of them.
I've not got any more questions.
I don't think I do.
I don't think I do either.
Okay. I have one in my hand to be stolen. I haven't peeked at it yet, so whoever wants to steal it, please feel free. And then slam it down real quick so I can. Okay. What do you do for the queen that no one else can do? Can I only pass around the circle, or can I pass to anyone? I think I can only pass around the circle. Yeah. Geez, what can I do? I mean, I suppose it's not so much of what I do as a thing I did and have done, which is provide this connection in this time of need. But I don't know if that's too much covered by my previous answer. I think I'm okay with it. The thing I do for the queen is provide this. Yeah, because it's not like this place that we're going has been our ally in the past, someone that we've had good relations with that she can pull on, different strings. Yeah, that's what I do. I provide this connection to the place we're going that I guess I should come up with a name for. My internet gone out again.
I can
Yeah.
hear
You're
you.
still here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sorry.
But were the things I said before heard or not?
Yeah, no, we heard everything.
We heard
Okay.
We
Okay,
heard
good.
I
everything.
don't think I've got any questions.
you.
Okay. That's fair. And that actually takes us nicely into the break. Does anyone else have questions?
I can't think of one immediately. What? Uh, run by me again. What was your answer exactly?
Yeah, that's true. I did a lot of talking and not a lot of content in those words. What I do for the queen that no one else can do is provide this tangible connection to a nation which had previously been not even like on the map in terms of relations.
How do you provide this connection?
I guess by virtue of my birth and then
No, I mean, how do you
taking
convey
as
that
a
connection to the queen?
oh
Is it like you write a report, or is it like you sit around you sit around and have tea and you make jokes about all the people from back home?
it's definitely more akin to the second one, but I don't think I'm not sure how jokey it is. Yeah, you know what? I have known her for a long time. It is probably quite casual at this point. Yeah.
Is it like you have a friendly conversation, or as it is known today, an unrecorded podcast together, and you bring it
Well,
and you bring
because
a mailbag with you from back home or something?
I mean, I do think there is a lot of like going through the mailbag for our unrecorded podcast, but actually because she is a queen, it's not an unrecorded podcast. She is a queen. I am a delicate who cannot return of his own accord kind of thing. So it's not unrecorded. I think either she'll have a secretary there or maybe some little magic smaller version of Gideon, or like instead of, is Gideon person shaped, I suppose?
Yes.
Okay. So not like the cabbage picture that I linked. So I think maybe there were some more simplistic versions that maybe the person who made Gideon had made before they died. Still kind of like playing around and refining. So like, little bejeweled scarabs or whatever that are literally like bugging the room. Kind of.
Yeah, I don't think I have any further questions then.
Cool.
None for me.
All right.
I had one, which was if you
Yes.
were taken as a child, how do you have this like link back to your thing, link to your home nation?
I think after, 'cause I'm not really sure the circumstances of like handing over. Was it kind of like there was a time where my nation was bested, or maybe even just my house, and it was like, in the interest of not having something like this happen again, send us that little child so that we may like establish a bond between our places, and so that if you mess with us, we'll slip, like we'll fuck up this child. You will not have him. But I think after a certain point, my people were like,
Oh no.
Hello?
Okay.
"Hello."
Hi.
Hello?
You're back.
That's good. Discord just kind of did a really, really loud pick up the call sound. So it was the last thing I.
You said that. I think we basically got everything. You said you were gone for like 2 seconds, maybe.
Oh, good. Okay. So my country then decided it's better that we make something of this. So, like perhaps I had been sent with like a nursemaid kind of thing, and they're like, we should, you know what? Let us send a tutor.
I
At
honestly
least so
thought
he
you were
doesn't
going to say fruit
forget his
basket.
no, like so he doesn't forget his language or something like that. And the queen's mother or whatever was like, this is acceptable, but never one longer than 6 months. You need to shift them out, so that they can't like consistently brainwash him for his own country or something like that. Just so that there's a tie, but not a strong tie.
Don't think I've got any further questions.
All right. So what we will do is do a quick little run through and prepare for a break. About how long? About how long are we wanting to do?
10 minutes?
Sorry, I didn't hear.
About 10 minutes, maybe?
10 minutes? Actually, that works out really nicely. That puts us at 1:15.
That's great.
So
A
yeah,
quarter
we'll be
to?
back. Oh yeah. 1:45. Yeah, so we're going to take a break, come back at whatever 45, and yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. See you in a bit.
Okay. Peace out.
I think we're back.
Are we back? All right. Okay, so if you are still with us, or not if, there are plenty of people still with us. Thank you for remaining with us in day 3 of the Roll Plus Bond first anniversary stream, with which we are having a lot of fun and also fundraising for Raices in Texas. They have many different programs with which they serve the immigrant and refugee community, more specifically in Texas, but along the southern border of the US. And if you go to donate.rollplusbond.com, you can participate there. I'm Kai at Alpha39 on Twitter, and I'm still joined by HB.
You can find me at BotherShelf on Twitter.
And Lofty.
I'm Lofty. I use they them pronouns, and you can find me at Inclined Light on Twitter.
And also Nora.
Hi, I'm Nora. I also use they them pronouns. I'm at Nora Reed. Reed is spelled R-E-E-D on Twitter.
Great, just like a woodwind, not like a book.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, we got straight run of they them players aside from I don't know, Kai, what are your pronouns?
Oh, I said she up at the start.
Okay. Yeah,
Yep, sorry to break the combo.
Yeah.
All good.
We've been having a pretty good run of NB saturation.
Yeah. I'll say. Okay, I have the wrong page up. Perfect. Okay. So we had just wrapped up with my question right there on the screen, and that means we're back around to HB.
We are. What brings out the Queen's kindness?
Oh.
I think what brings out the Queen's kindness most of all is when she has performed an act of cruelty, whether one the people know about or one the people do not. It's when she's done something awful that she becomes properly kind, and that's I think a wise thing to be careful of. But fortunately, whenever she's being kind, she doesn't use kindness to give license to her cruelty. She simply uses it as a compensatory measure.
So she's doing it consciously, like to balance the scale without excusing herself?
She does not think of herself as a bad person, so she's always like, whenever she's done something truly awful, she tends to ask me specifically about what she could do to balance it, and I try to come up with something with something suitably gratifying and new.
Huh.
So I am sort of entrusted with a list of some of the things she's least proud of doing, which I myself am at least a little bit proud of.
Yeah. Do you treasure that list?
It is in my head somewhere, and I revisit it frequently.
Sounds a bit like treasuring.
Yes, you could say that. It's more that I remember it. I would say because the queen certainly conceptualized me as a machine a little bit, much more as a machine than a person. Even though I'm almost certainly a person. So that also means that she trusts me with a much wider, with a much wider scope of problems. Like she entrusts me with many more of her feelings than she normally would. Like even her closest friends.
Mm.
Is she often kind? If
She is often kind. Let's put it that way.
Is she often kind without a balancing cruelty? Or let me try it again. Is she often kind for its own sake?
Mm, a queen, a queen does not have that many opportunities to be kind. Most of the people that the queen surrounds herself with are often simply advising her to be cruel to different people,
she's so
especially during a
lucky to have
war.
you.
Yes, she trusts in my impartiality.
Huh.
But yes, many of the grand gestures she has performed over the years, she has done under my advisement.
Can you give us some examples of grand gestures?
Mm, well, for example, some years previous, there was what you might describe. What would I describe this as? Uh, there was a great, there was a great, there was a great, there was a great forgiveness of debts in the capital city, which she did under my advisement. It was not only a measure. It was not only a measure to soothe everyone's worries in these times, in these times of war, but also a way to, but also a way for everybody to be bankrupt together, as the kingdom was at that time.
Is it often that she do the kindnesses often match the cruelty? So if she does a great cruelty, does she do a great kindness, or is it
I like
not
the
the
theme
same?
done that way. Yes, it makes her feel appreciated. As in that it assuages her concerns that the kind she thinks the kindness should match the cruelty, and so I usually do.
Do you advise her to small kindnesses also?
Yes, sometimes the greatest cruelties are offset by the smallest kindness. Because the greatest cruelties are such that if you did a substantially great kindness, then people would wonder, what cruelty have you done that deserves such a kindness in turn? So to keep them guessing, I advise small kindnesses in those situations sometimes. Because sometimes the greatest
Uh-huh.
cruelties are ones that nobody knows about. And it's best that people do not know about them.
Do people recognize this pattern?
Yeah.
Mm, some people certainly do, which is why throwing them off is required.
Hmm.
Is this sense of balance does this sense of balance that she has uh stem from some kind of like kingdom-wide religious or philosophical belief, or is it just the queen's like internal sense of what ruling should be?
I have served queens before her, and and my ability to provide certainty takes on a religious quality at times.
Huh.
It may have stemmed from other beliefs originally, but this is how things stand now.
You said the queen thinks that she's kind. Does the general populace believe the same thing?
Mm, I would say no as a general rule, but in some specific cases she can be kind.
Does it swing so hard as they think that she's unkind?
Well, you know, it's a time of war. Opinions swing wildly.
I don't have any more questions.
Yeah, no further questions, I think.
No further questions.
I've drawn. What promise did the queen make to you before this journey? Do you think she'll keep it? I think she promised. Actually, I think I'm more interested in seeing the Gideon's answer to this. That's okay.
Yeah, pass.
Let me think. Sorry. I think that she told me that she would tell me what I was before. Like I was made out of something.
As in, something was destroyed in order that you were created, or yeah, that's the question.
Yeah, like whether that was. I'm not sure whether it was something that was like literal, like something that like magical artifacts that were melted down, or if it was something more abstract, like people were bankrupted. But she told me she would answer that question. And um and I do think that she will keep it. I don't know whether or not that's naive.
Has she made the similar promise before?
Um Not to me.
Hmm.
Do you have any
I've-
idea about what the sorry?
I think we were about to ask almost the same question, so go for it.
Do you have any idea about what the answer to the question might be? Like, do you have any thoughts about what you could have been before?
Um I think that I have wild fancies about what I may have been before. Like, I think that I have read histories of, like, things that the kingdom had before it was bankrupted, or seen empty spaces in the magical armory, and wondered if those things were recrafted into my form.
Hmm.
Is there an answer that you go?
No. That was the kind of like will words come out if I make a sound?
Are there any answers that would disappoint you, but also like, on the other hand, have you actually thought about what answers you're looking for, or not looking for, hoping for?
I think that I hope that it is something glamorous or glorious, and have intentionally avoided thinking about possible horrifying answers.
Oh, I have a question. Did the queen? I mean, did the queen? Did you ask the queen about this, or did she offer to tell you unprompted?
I think I asked. I think I've been asking for several years. And it is just now that she says, okay, at the end of this journey.
Did you say what you thought? Did you think if you did you say if you thought that she would keep the promise, or?
I think I definitely believe that she will tell me. I think I have a much less I think I have a much more naive, almost like admiring opinion of her that the Wisdom of Crowds does.
Has she promised you other answers in the past, or is like this the only thing that you've actually like tried questioning her on?
I think that she has just directed me for how to sell, like where to look in the library about questions I have. But this is one that I could not find answers for.
No further questions.
Yeah, no further questions.
Yep, no further questions.
Okay. I meant to prepare and deal myself out the card. Get quick. Okay, someone please steal. Oh, no, wait, sorry. Should it go back to Lofty, whose question it initially was?
I'm fine with either.
I think it... Yeah, that's tricky, because if it does, we have to keep kind of like stitching back and forth. Yeah, I think when you pass, you pass your turn as well as the card.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that seems fair. Cool. All right.
I have to refresh Roll20 because I can't grab cards at the moment.
Oh, dang
Thanks,
it.
Roll20.
That's all right. Oh god. I got a quick look at it as I passed it over. So you saw the queen do something terrible to keep the retinue safe. What was it? did you come to respect her more or less afterward? Man, uh, um, Nora, this mostly affects your character, so you tell me what you think. I think one evening after making camp, we were having one of our chats.
Podcasting
Maybe,
sessions.
yeah, one of our podcast sessions. Yeah, so we were recording a podcast, and um, some of Gideon's other guards uh, uh, like bring in somebody who's like they did not capture, they didn't capture this person. They were like doing their patrols, and this yeah, like this person like knocks on the back of one of their helmets and they're like, "Excuse me, I will see the queen." And like, "Ah!" They're very startled, but they bring them over. And I think this is like a mountain bandit chief, and they're like, you probably wonder why I'm so confident stepping in here. And the queen's like, keep going. And the queen's like, oh no, sorry. The bandit chief says, we want something for your safe passage. And like sort of under the guise of being a good negotiator, the queen is not going to start out offering it. And also, as we've established, really doesn't have money to offer. Although perhaps the kind of thing that would satisfy a bandit chief is within her grasp, I'm not sure. And so, she kind of opens it up imperiously, like saying, what do you think is fair? What do you require? And the chief says something stunning, something marvelous. And the guards are not here anymore. I think she dismissed them, but I am. And she says, "Did you see the green one when you came in? On the way back, he can stay with you." And like that's her offering like a future gift of a person.
Yikes.
Yeah. So I think it hasn't yet come to pass. So unless you want to like hard exit, I'm going to say like that's the queen. She's done something terrible. And do I respect her more or less afterward? I definitely don't respect her more, because it's not, as far as I know, it's not a great sacrifice that she's making. She has guards. And even though Gideon is those things that the bandit chief said, something remarkable, something miraculous, to me it reminds me of my own situation. And so I don't know that I respect her like remarkably less, but I do feel a disappointment. So yeah.
Do you tell me?
That's a good question. How big of a retinue are we? I know we're double the size. What with the elephant and the sarcophagus? Is it a sarcophagus right now too, or is it a different inlaid, more like square box HB? Are you in
I
the
think a
Ark of the
sarcophagus.
Covenant now?
I think a sarcophagus. I think a sarcophagus. Basically, yeah. My image for this is the Ark of the Covenant, but bigger.
Okay. So there's not like a person-shaped nature to it. You are just like a pipey box.
A box.
Okay. A beautiful, fancy pipey box. Okay.
Actually, a little bit like a cross between the Ark of the Covenant and the church organ.
Oh, damn. With all the pipes, of course. That's
All the pipes, except they're
spectacular.
not all going straight up; they're just going all around.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like that like that mini game, the hacking mini game in BioShock. Many pipes going many directions. And you gotta switch them and swoop them. Okay. So right, sorry. How big is our retinue? Like, do I have cause to talk to Gideon? I think I do have cause to talk, or like I do have opportunities to talk to him. But I don't think I do. I don't. Not now.
If you were disappointed in the Queen slightly, would you have been disappointed if you drew the comparison between your situation and this situation? Would you have been similarly disappointed if it was more like your situation?
Like if it was on a greater scale, like if it was not to bandits.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
I think I would have been less disappointed if it was to a more worthy opponent, if that makes sense.
And also, if it wasn't them asking for something miraculous and beautiful, it was like them asking for a person rather and treating Gideon as a person instead of as a miraculous thing.
Oh, you mean to say like I watched the Queen reduce Gideon to just that.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, so yes. To answer the question, I would have been less disappointed if well, with the bandits there was no way that it could have been better, I think. Unless it could have been better if she had said like I offer you the services of my captain of the guard, this mystical magical like cloisonne man for like a year and a day or some sort of fairy tale number. And there had been like a transfer of service kind of agreement rather than just like oh, you want something magical, here I have a magical thing and you could have it but later. So I think also I don't think that she's being canny and will be like and Gideon, we're going to pretend that you die somewhere or we're going to hide you in a box, take you home. No, I think she's like, I need to get to this place, and once I'm coming back, I'll be able to, I won't need Gideon for safety as much, and I can easily do that. So the calculation of it.
Though arguably, possibly the Queen offered this deal because there is something about the promise that she made to Gideon that would make her expect this as a likely option.
Oh, truly, that was that was the reason I thought of it in the first place. Is she doesn't want the truth to be known. But that's not quite my question. That's just implications. So? Any
Yeah, not
further?
pushing the land.
Okay.
Prototyping. The final. Are the bandits within the Queen's realm, or are we traveling through someone else's land at the moment?
Oh, well, we're traveling through your land, which is nominally part of the Queen's realm, I think. But because it's so mountainous, because it has this interesting, like, living land, it's the kind of place where people flee to, or being between nations as well. It's a good place to to set up shop as bandits. So I imagine it's been easier for them for a long time, since this war has been going as long as any of us can remember.
No further questions.
All right.
None for me.
Hmm. The queen lights a fire in you. What is it?
Oh,
Hmm. Hmm. I might have an answer to this, but I'm more interested in hearing Lofty's answer.
ooh, okay. Ah. I'm just trying to think what would make my character, what would make Lim get pumped up?
Well, there is a reason why you want to be a person, right? As opposed to like
It's true,
a vague
yeah.
emanation of the land.
Yeah. But I'm not sure if the Queen would be interested or have the capability to reduce me from being a person. And I'm not quite sure what motivation the Queen would have to change the situation I'm currently in.
Maybe she likes you.
Maybe.
Because I think lights a fire in you has like a positive connotation.
Yeah. And I'm thinking the sort of instigating factor for that could be that, like, we haven't spent much time together before this. And so the Queen is now on this journey coming to like have a relationship with Lim a little bit more.
Well, but don't forget the initial prompt that she's chosen us because she loves us.
Well, she knows that we love her.
Oh, right.
Yeah, that's true. I'm thinking about that in context of Lim now, because maybe it's that the land loves the Queen, and therefore Lim loves the Queen. Um, I think the Queen offers Lim land of its own, like separate in some way from the land that Lim is already a part of, that would be Lim's itself, which would allow them to have some kind of return to what they were before they were a person, whilst also being separate from the greater thing, the greater land which they are. And I think Lim enjoys being a person rather than being the land, but I think they do still miss being the land.
So she has offered you like a liminal space of your own where you could come back to the land, but because it's distinct and apart, you would like be able to reemerge from it at will.
Yeah, I
At
think
your
so.
at your own individual will.
Yeah, I'd forgotten that was. Yeah, no, I really think so. And I think that's Lim really fancies that.
Yeah, like
But it's
individuality.
individuality, but
having
whilst
to
also having
deny-
home. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think this is contingent on something. And I'm not quite sure what it's contingent on yet, but I think the Queen asks for something above and beyond what Lim's service already grants her. And I don't know if we know what that is yet, but I will find something at a later time.
Sure, of course.
Yeah, that
Any
makes sense to me.
questions?
No further questions.
No further questions for me either.
No further questions.
Great. I think, Nora, that's your turn then.
I got, what do you usually do with the royal family, and why does that make you an unlikely choice for this journey? Which I don't think is a very interesting question for me to ask, because I think my duties have already been separated to pass.
Pass or X?
Pass to you.
Pass to me. I'm going to exit because I am also kind of bored by it.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So does that wrap around to me, or does that give? What does it mean? It's Kai's turn now.
I think me, because when you X, you get to the card that is X'd, you draw again.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Oh, to deal to at least one.
I'm not sure that this is how the rules work, but I'm really enjoying how we're mechanizing them.
I honestly think it does. At least the thing about getting to redraw an X card, I know is.
Oh yeah, that's definitely true.
The thing about passing, yeah. Okay, so I have drawn it. Oh no!
I'm stealing it. What?
Oh no! It's a real bummer. Did you get it? Yeah. Okay. What do you do to disappoint the queen on this journey?
Oh no!
I immediately regret it.
Yeah. Gosh, kind of for that reason, I want to pass it to you. Yes, you know what? I really do. I want to see how the great and all-knowing wisdom of crowds disappoints the queen. So pass.
Okay. I think how I disappoint the queen is that the reason she took me along is because when I am closer to things, they become easier to answer. So a lot of the but the problem is a lot of the questions that she asks me are about very far future things. She asks me about her legacy. She asks me about how people will remember her. She asks me about all kinds of things like that. She also has definitely asked me about the future of Gideon and so forth, and that's hard to answer because Gideon's future, I sense, is a very long one.
Mm.
And for that reason, I am frustratingly silent on most of the things that she wants to know most, which is unusual for her. Because usually I can soothe her with at least one easy answer. But the longer that she fails to get answers from me, the more she is reminded that underneath all the pomp and circumstance, she is a regular person. She does not she does not really know anything that the other people on this journey do not also know. She is in no way better than the chief of the mountain bandits. She is simply better dressed.
Mm.
These are among the answers I want to ask. I want her to ask and to give her, but she does not ask any of them. Presumably because she knows because in her heart of hearts, I think she knows that this will be the answer. And this is one thing
Yeah,
she
she's
does not
never
want
asked
to
those
be certain
questions because
about.
of those answers. Very good.
So I'm just kind of ponderously being carried through these mountains for reasons that seem increasingly flimsy to the queen.
Has she made any mention of sending you back?
That's an interesting question. Not in my earshot, although I can hear a lot farther than people think.
Huh. What about within her thoughts?
Oh, certainly. She has wanted to send me back for at least for at the very least the back half of this journey.
Yeah. Okay.
How's the elephant doing?
The elephant is very well trained.
Does he handle or she, or they handle?
I think she handles her duties as well as could be expected, which is to say, moderately poorly.
Does she? Does she handle the terrain well? Like,
No, not at all.
I'm wondering if the retinue is having to like cut paths.
Oh yeah, they absolutely do.
That's part of why Wisdom of Crowds has to travel with such a crowd.
Yes, like you need an engineering core to get get Wisdom of Crowds across the landscape.
Okay, so we're probably slowed down significantly also.
Yes, that is almost certainly why the mountain bandits caught us to begin with.
Ah, okay.
I think I also know in my heart of hearts that the queen bringing me along was a terrible decision on her part. But nevertheless, I can't help but feel proud that that she felt I was useful enough to bring along. So
No
yeah,
further questions.
No further questions.
Yeah, no further questions.
What is something you do for the royal family that has prepared you well for this journey? I think my knowledge of land and the land which we traveled through and the land which we are going to travel through and just land in general means that I provide the Queen with knowledge about the land which she might otherwise not have, but like, oh, if I go here, if we send our troops in this direction, we will get this advantage because of this aspect which you might have overlooked. And also, if we plant our crops at this time, this will happen. And also, the weather could potentially be this, which additionally overlaps with wisdom of crowds like questions. But I think mine is more wisdom of crowds is more big picture, whereas my knowledge is more limited, and that of someone who has been in these areas for a long time. And I think one of the things which I do on this journey is provide like helpful advice about different ways which we could travel. Like when we're discussing, oh, should we go this way or this way? I can say, well, the elephant might not be able to travel that way, and this way is known to have various bandits and such. But I can't provide the sort of prophetic knowledge that Wisdom of Crowds has. It's just sort of like, oh, it's bandits are known to be in this area, or this path has a history of being treacherous, and that sort of thing. So I think that's my answer. So yeah, I'm just helpful for general travel guides, and potentially when we get there, if we need to battle, I will be helpful in oh, well, if we travel into this place, we might be able to ambush in this way, or we might have this advantage granted to us by the land and such like.
So it says, what is something you do for the royal family? Have you done this before this queen's reign? Or no?
Yes, and also people like me have done this for the family before as well. There is a long history of like relationship between the land and it's providing the family with information about their needs and providing them about information of its needs. And that's been going on for as long as, not for as long as there's been settlement in this area, but for as long as they've called it home, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
And I think in addition to information, it's also, I can do things, I can exert some reach by being an extra pair of hands and stuff like that. Whereas my knowledge might not be as helpful, but I can instead affect the world in a material way, unlike memory of crowds, wisdom of crowds.
Okay. No further questions for me.
So you said that you would provide some like use in a combat situation by being able to like know the land around. Do you have a role in the combat itself?
Say again, you cut out a bit.
Oh, you were saying that you would be able to provide intelligence in a fight situation? Do you have a role in the combat itself?
I don't think much of a role outside of just similar to a low guard, maybe?
Okay.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I think just like an extra pair of hands, an extra guard in the retinue, then yeah.
No further questions.
Anything
Does
else
the-
from HB? Oh, sorry.
Does the land ever ask you to do something?
Oh yeah, all the time.
What would be an example?
Now that I'm going to backtrack on that, the land doesn't ask me to do things, but I'm aware of the land's needs. And the land might say, oh, this pass is overgrown, or the snow in this area is pressing heavily and preventing the movement of animals and such. And I might make that clear to the queen.
So yeah, like a given, you're like an intermediary.
Yeah. I think this is a role which the relationship between the land and the queen is very much a sort of like both ask things of each other.
How does it feel? Do you just know, or is there like something you do to connect with the land?
I think I just know.
Kind of like a phantom itch of some kind?
Yeah, it's like, how does your hand know to move when you want it to, and how do you know that your hand is cold?
Yeah, makes sense to me. No further questions from me.
Cool. Before we do the next one, I wanted to call out the donation total while it's a fun number, because the most recent donor was Elliot, who I think might be at Name of the Year on Twitter. Gave us $11.20 because I want to make the total a asterisk tilde cool number tilde asterisk again. And it worked because we are at 1,724.20. Blaze it.
Hell yeah!
Is truly spectacular. Like, thank you for everyone watching. I'm seeing, as I scroll back, some other fiddly numbers that I don't have the brain power to focus and do the math backwards, but Anonymous gave $16.34. Anonymous prior to them gave $2.46. Then 7051. That's spectacular. And Anonymous 7051, you have not chosen to get involved in the drawing. We have an incentive for people who donate and choose to participate that you can potentially win a copy of Ocean Tides, which was our stream kickoff game by at Harpydora on Twitter, or a copy of Stewpot, which will be our stream closing game, and that's by Takuma_Okada on Twitter. Both spectacular games. We have more than one copy of each. We have a lot to give away, and not many people are saying that they want to be in the giveaway. So jump on it, people. Come on. Let us give you cool things.
Maybe we just want one person to have all 6 copies.
Oh, we've got 13 as far as I know. We have 3 of Ocean Tides and 10 of Stewpot. So
it's a lot of Stewpot.
It's so much Stewpot. It is a cauldron of Stewpot, I would say.
A feast.
So a feast. Yeah, exactly. It's a feast of Stewpot. So what's up? 19 people in the stream, -0, minus myself. If you want to donate,
me.
even $1. Oh, okay. Minus also Lofty. Even $1 will let you put yourself in that drawing. Like, those are solid, excellent, fun games. So you can go to donate.rollplusbond.com. I see it sitting right there in the chat. And the funds that we're collecting are going straight to Raices, Texas. And you can learn more about them right in that chat also. So back to the game. It is Nora, right?
That sounds right.
According to my notes.
Every time I draw, it's like, how many do you want?
Yeah, I do wish there were some shortcut. I bet there's macros you can do, but I can't do them.
I just always think it's funny, the idea of being like, yes, give me 5 prompts.
Oh, that's a good point. HB, say that, because you're right.
Yeah, you can just drag it out. You can just drag it out of the deck with your mouse if you have one.
Good to know.
Then gets played face up in the middle of the board.
Cool.
Oh,
This is
no.
a great question.
I just dragged one.
When was the last time the queen showed you real kindness?
Everyone
I
ignore that
think-
card. Sorry.
I think that she had the last time we went through a town, I think that she had I think that there was like one of the pieces of glass that are in my like decorations on like my shoulder had popped out, and I think that it wasn't something that was necessary for me to function, but I think that she had it repaired while we were in the town, and she like specially like made the arrangements. I think she made the arrangements for that personally.
Cruelty and kindness.
Yeah. Gosh, I have a question for Wisdom of Crowds, but that's not how it works.
I think I know what your question is, and I think the answer is no.
My question did not have a yes/no answer. But I guess,
And yet still, the answer is no.
yeah, in a similar vein to the one I want to ask of HB, had the queen recently showed you a cruelty as well?
Not that I know of.
Okay.
Pointedly, not that you know of.
Did the queen have to give anything up for this? Like, was there any like payment that she had to make in order to have you prepared?
Uh-huh.
Does that make sense? Whoops, sorry.
No, it made sense. I'm trying to think of a good answer.
Okay, cool.
I think that it was that she there was like a payment made for all of the services of the town, and that it was that she would have the road repaired to that town from the capital, so that they could more easily trade through the mountain, because they weren't able to like export wood to the capital unless they have a better quality road. So it was sort of a future economic promise. But I don't think that there was a portion of that was the smith's work. Like, I think that she just like basically like did this for the whole town at once. And that it was her time in arranging a payment from the kingdom. That was the kindness.
Yeah, no further questions from me.
None
No, from me.
me. Okay. Great. Okay, so I did figure out what I can do, and it is that drag thing. It works on tablet too. So, you saved the queen's life once. How? I think this is kind of this is just kind of like a quick, smaller story. We were out hunting something. Can we come up with a cool, fun animal that's like
Giant slug.
I was gonna say something like a giraffe. So a slug can have a long neck as well. I like it. It's just got giraffe pattern.
Slugs are
Uh,
adaptable that way.
I'm sorry.
Slugs are adaptable that way.
Yeah, they can have a very long neck or a very short neck.
How long,
As
how long is a slug's neck? As long as it wants to.
yeah, honestly, as long as there is a point you can call the tail, everything else could be. Which sure. So we were on a slug hunt. And
Is
we
everyone
were
here chill with the slug thing?
Oh yeah, that's a good question.
I'm cool with it.
I love slugs.
Okay, it doesn't bother me. It's bug adjacent, so I just wanted to double check.
Oh, that's true. That's true. I'm all for bugs. If I can't have a lizard character, I will have bug character. So and I think honestly we're about done with slug description. I just needed to have something for there to be a hunt about. So we are tracking it. God, the problem is slugs are pretty easy to fucking track.
So
They
easy to
just
track.
make a big old slime trail. So here's how it's okay. So we know where we are now. Perhaps where the queen's realm is a little more swampy, and that would explain how come slugs, and also how come harder to track. So, as we are hunting, like as happens in like literally every story with hunting, any sort of fantasy myth, whatever. We're separated from the group, and suddenly we come upon it. And you know, the queen is bold, the queen is brave, and she's got her, I don't know, slug hunting trident like poised. But this slug is way bigger and way more aggro, and it comes at her. It falls upon her, and I like lunge in with what would I have? I don't know, like the concept of trying to lasso a slug is really funny to me, but also like it seems impossible or implausible, but yet I don't care. So I like lasso it around with its little eye horns, and like it's so distracted trying to get the queen that it's a somewhat pull offable. And then like go in with my sword and stuff and take care of this slug until she regains her footing and picks up her trident, and like we're both like taking care of this slug. But if I hadn't been there, it would have been far too much for a person.
Yeah, see? The fact that you were hunting slugs immediately made that whole tableau much more interesting.
And giraffe pattern.
That's
Giraffe
most
pattern slug.
that's the slug. That's most slugs that I'm familiar with, honestly.
They have giraffe patterns?
Well, some of them have something like that.
If you would put a picture in the Discord, that would be great, and then it can wind up on eventually. And
It's
also,
not really a giraffe pattern. It's more like let's see.
Oh yeah.
oh, I'm so excited. Because literally oh my god, it's beautiful. Okay, so it's the great gray slug, and it has I guess it's a little more leopardy, except kind of stripe toward its tail end. Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, my only knowledge of slugs is like the things that are snails but without a shell. So they're just gray. They have no pattern. They eat your ice plant in California. In Taiwan, they're extremely big.
Oh yeah, slugs are way bigger than you'd think. Also, if you want like super pretty slugs, you should probably look into sea slugs a bunch because they are beautiful.
Oh yes, those I have seen, but honestly, because they live under the water, I don't think of them. I don't think of them as slugs.
Apparently, they're technically snails.
Oh yeah, slugs are literally just snails without shells.
But apparently, like, sea slugs are more snails or something? I don't know.
Well, anyway. That's my contribution to the scene.
Thank you. I am so glad.
I'm just googling sea slugs now. This is cool.
Yeah. Save it, save it.
Okay. Yeah, no further questions.
No questions.
No further questions.
Okay. Thank you.
No questions.
Next.
Wait, no, I
slugs.
do.
Oh, okay.
Was the queen grateful for this? Did she like recognize that you'd saved her life, or did she like shrug it off?
She wasn't effusive about it, but you know, she was grateful. Like she did that sort of like post dramatic scene movement of like hand on the shoulder and like you have done a great thing for your queen today. And I'm like, yes, thank you, or whatever, like something suitably dignified. So yeah, she was grateful, but it wasn't the kind of thing I can. If I wanted to claim a favor for it, I would be doing that on my own, like on my own will, not with an understanding that she's like, and with this life saving, you get one coupon for favor, you know.
Coupon for favor. Love it.
Yeah.
Plus,
sorry.
also, like, I was nearly eaten by a slug is not exactly the kind of story you want to relate to people.
Oh, precisely. Like, does anyone else know this story? Probably not. Like, maybe I've told, like, I wouldn't have even told it to like impress somebody in a bar that I'm trying to pick up. It would be more like a pillow talk. You want to hear something funny, kind of thing.
You want to hear something funny? Let me tell you about slugs.
Let me tell you about the queen getting smushed by a slug. You know how dignified she is. You know how regal, how beautiful. Yes, but also picture her bowled over by, you know, a 10-foot slug.
Perfect.
Yeah.
No further questions.
Okay, excellent.
It's my time to shine again.
It is.
You are considered beautiful by almost everyone you meet. How does the queen make you question that perception? Ooh.
Oh,
Ooh, I love this.
man, this one is always just a crushing question.
Yeah, I think I'm considered beautiful by almost everyone I meet because, well, the fact of the matter is I am so complex that pretty much nobody knows how I work. I think it might very well be the case that knowledge is lost to time. If I broke, nobody could rebuild me. And I think because of that, I think because of that, I am considered precious in the way that the treasure is precious, and beautiful in the way that that an amazing mechanism is beautiful. Like I am a link to some kind of older time, and when people like walk into my presence and can feel my gaze on them, they're just like wow. And how does the queen make me question that perception? I think I think it's because the queen is in many senses, much like the kings and queens before her, the focus of my abilities. So I think
Okay.
so I think it's kind of flipped around for me, where instead of me being the link to some kind of glorious past in the presence of the queen, I am the queen's link to the future. I anticipated the queen before she was born. I consider I was I was sort of I was still an advisor then, and I could see her clearly before she was here. And then I met her, and I amended that perception a little bit. But the thing is that I have envisioned the queen, and here she is. In a very in a very real sense, the queen is something that I dreamed up and became reality. And I feel like that's beautiful to me personally.
That's trippy as hell.
And that's something that I don't think even the queen necessarily understands. Which is how endlessly fascinated I am with her. Where she's almost like an idealized. She's almost like an external self to me. Because I do love the queen, much like all the other members of this retinue love the queen, even against their better instincts. And it's kind of an almost parental love in that sense. So yeah,
Hmm. Any question? Uh, hmm. Does this feeling hurt you?
mm, yes, I think. Because there is almost like well, not hurt in the sense that I resent the queen for this. It's more that I think I imagined that I think my imagination and prediction of the situation that we're in is not really the most auspicious one, I should say. And like the fact is that eventually, no matter how well this goes, the queen's future will run out, and then there might be a new queen. There might not be a new queen. I have not. I
Oh.
have. I have not envisioned this yet.
Is
And
that because you don't have the information to, or you don't want?
I think I don't. I think I don't entirely want to at the moment because of this reason. I always have a phase with monarchs where I imagine that they will live forever, that they will be like I am, eternal.
Your honeymoon phase.
Yeah. And I think at that time, I think at that, I think at that, I think we're ending the, and I think we're nearing the end. We are, whether I've acknowledged it or not, we are at the end of that honeymoon phase with the queen now.
Okay.
Which you can tell in the way that my answers have become less confident, more halting, rarer. In fact, though the queen does not know this, this also happened last time, where I grew. At the time, they would have described me as sullen, if they bothered to think of me that way at all.
Interesting. Interesting. Huh. Okay. So then, is this hurt new or is it familiar? Because you've had at least a similar outward sulk before.
It is surprising because I thought it would take longer.
Oh no. Okay. I think no further questions.
I don't think I've got any questions.
Did you the way that you feel about the queen now, is that new to her, or is that how you felt about the previous monarchs who you advised?
I think the previous monarch went quietly, so it was much more amicable.
I mean, where you said that you foresaw her, and so your love for her was parental, or was, is that part of the cycle?
I think it is, yes. I think I shift through. I think I kind of shift through these feelings over time.
Okay.
Every time I hope that it will turn out differently.
Okay. No further questions.
It never has turned out differently?
It never has turned out differently. The circumstances of how each monarch goes out are different, obviously. I think, like the previous one, I think we worked together to give. Let's say the previous queen. I was a particular favorite of hers, and at the end of her life, we worked together to give closure to all of her matters. And it
Oh,
was like a triumphant final tour of the country.
that's
But you
really
don't
nice.
anticipate doing that with this queen?
It's becoming increasingly unlikely.
Were you at war? Queen was around?
Yes, but there was a lull in the war. It's kind of like the 100 Years' War, where there's a time when you don't really have active fighting.
Okay, no further questions.
I think that was no further from all of us.
Yep.
I would like to try to restart some of my devices. I would also like a break to grab water. Would we like 5 or 10 would put us at quarter past. So a 10-minute break sounds good to me. What about you?
10 does only give us 45 minutes left. How much left do we have?
Well, I could get a sense of this if I could look at Roll20, but that's part of why I want to reset.
Okay.
Want to reset devices and try to make internet
Okay, yeah.
be good. But until I have confirmation from Eric that he's ready to set us up for break, I'm going to do one more quick
He's ready.
plug for. Okay, but I'll still do one more quick plug for our donation link, which you can get in the Twitch chat with !donate. It's donate.rollplusbond.com, and everything we're collecting benefits Raices. So, see you all in, I guess, 12 minutes, not 10. We will be back at quarter after the hour.
Sounds good. See you in a bit.
All right, peace out. Hotspotted off my phone, so my laptop is not active. I can't see when we're truly live. Can anyone tell me?
We are live.
Okay, great. So, hope everyone enjoyed that insight into my internet woes. So, we are continuing our game of For the Queen by Alex Roberts, also known gloriously as @MuscularPikachu on Twitter. I'm Kai, Alpha39 on Twitter, joined by, go backwards, Nora.
Hi, I'm Nora. I'm Nora Reed on Twitter.
Lofty, I'm Inclined to Light on Twitter.
HB, I'm Bothershelf on Twitter.
What a good name.
Sorry.
And we are all people who met each other in one way or another and wound up on the Roll Plus Bond gaming server, which is celebrating its first anniversary. And to do that, we're doing 72 hours of games. We're in our final day. Very stunning. And we're raising money for Raices Texas, which is a charity that you can find more about by doing exclamation point Raices in the chat. That's RAICES, just like the Spanish word for roots, because it is. And it'll tell you more about what they do, which is very broadly serving the immigrant and refugee population, the U.S. southern border. So back to our game, where we have this spectacular goblet queen who honestly is a real piece of work in a way that a lot of people are. But yeah, we've really gotten into it. So I think Lofty, you have the next turn.
I think so too, yeah.
Yeah, and while you do that, I'll have an idea. Oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah. When was the last time the Queen hurt me? I think it was before the expedition. Not the expedition, the journey. And I think part of it was in calling me back, because as much as I love being home and I love serving my queen, it does hurt to be home and to miss the place where I can't stay for very long, for otherwise I will like have to lose some part of myself. But also, the last time she hurt me in a deeper way,
Don't worry about it.
where'd that come from? The last time
Don't worry
that the
about
Queen
it.
hurt me in a deeper way was, I think it was when, like, as part of the entire part of the land itself, and I think partly there was a great battle, and in the battle she did something which hurt the land and made it so that in order to win the battle, she had to large swathe of it. She had to send a flood down the mountain and cause a landslide, and the land was dealt. And this damaged me, hurt me as well, even as disconnected as I am. Yeah,
Brutal.
those are my two answers.
Did that happen before or after she promised you, or yeah, before or after she promised you that place of your own?
I think she promised me a place of my own. Part of it's like as payment for this journey, and part of it's like for a favor which I have yet to perform during this journey. And but Hunting the Land was done a while ago, several years, I think.
Ah,
So yeah, done far earlier than than calling me on this journey.
no further questions.
Yeah, no further questions.
No further questions.
Right. To Nora. Oh,
Oh,
When did I know I was in love with Queen?
glorious.
Um, I'm gonna pass.
Huh. Huh.
Well, it was just like,
Okay.
me? In love with the queen?
Okay. So when did I know?
that is you answering this. I think it's probably the most interesting person.
I would have loved to see her robot guardian knowing that he was in love with her.
That's true.
I was
But
considering it earlier.
yeah. Okay. I knew. Perhaps I suspected for a while, but I knew. I knew when I was disappointed in her for the deal with the bandit chief, as opposed to perhaps being dispassionately like assessing the quality of the deal or something like that. Yeah, I think with my disappointment, I knew.
It's so sad.
Yeah, we're having fun, but we're answering a lot of tough questions. We're setting some people up for some heartbreak. I feel like I deserve this for what I set up with the bandit. Anyway, sorry, Lofty.
It's okay. Looking back, do you think your feelings have changed recently that have caused you to be in love, or have you only recently fallen in love, or have you been in love for a while and you only just realized it?
I think it's been a while and only just realized. Yeah.
Is there like she is the queen, but my question is like, does she have like any other relationships, or do you have like a kind of a thing, a platonic thing, but still like a thing going?
Well, we definitely have some sort of platonic thing. We I don't think we are by any means the only people of our age range in the court. But like we did grow up together, and when I came here I didn't really, I was in a strange position as well as being in a strange place. And I think she took her role as the heir pretty seriously and did her best to be like gracious and all of that, and it did turn friendly, but it's not like a since I met you I knew, or like when puberty hit I knew, or something like that. No, I think it developed more recently. But at the same time, to the specific question of other relationships, I think I mentioned that I have had others. She probably has as well. Yeah, that's pretty much all I got.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Cool.
I've not got any further questions.
No further questions.
Ooh. Oh wait, no, it just flipped.
Please answer for the queen.
Very good.
Jeez.
Oh gosh. Okay, so I have to be honest about this. I'm not choosing the ones that are next. I'm shuffling to make sure that, or to try to get the cards sooner, rather than at the very end. But I did stop shuffling when I saw this one. I don't know where the Queen is under attack card is, but I'm trying to shuffle to get it like 1 or 2 rows away from us, and I just had to stop here. So this is not purely natural, but it is semi-natural.
So I arranged for the queen to be ambushed on this journey. What did they offer me? I think it's strange, right? Because I think to arrange something with me, you don't have to necessarily be in my presence. You simply have to be in my future.
And you don't have to like explicitly bring the offer before you, do you?
Yeah, that's the thing. So the question is, I arranged the queen to be ambushed on this journey.
There's different
I
meaning
think
to the usual word arranged.
What did they offer me? I like to think that, you know how I was talking about the queen as sort of a vessel for what I most desire in the world. I think that's still true, but I think like the arrangement that I've made here is that I think I want a more resilient vessel because I have grown tired of the heartbreak.
Oh.
I want this to end at some point, and I want to have somebody to guide who is, well, more permanent than the queen or the king or even the kingdom are.
Who did you choose?
I think it's an interesting question. I think I want to say Gideon.
Oh my god. You did see a long future for him.
Gideon is the one that intuitively seems the correct choice.
Yeah.
Did you arrange for the bandits to be?
Maybe. Like, I think that might make sense in this case, but I think that's something that I think that's something that the Wisdom of Prouds would never ever tell anyone.
Mm-hmm.
Like, people aren't even aware that Wisdom of Prouds could do this.
It doesn't have to have like directly been doing it. It could have just been, oh, if I tell the queen to do this action and she does that, it will cause this to ripple out, and then eventually this will be the outcome. Just doing such minor, small modifications. Ooh, so good.
Yeah, so I think that's the answer. That I don't think Gideon will be necessarily mistreated. It's just that Gideon will be. I don't think the mountain bandits are going to mistreat Gideon in the way that we might expect. Something else will happen.
Oh, poor Gideon.
Wow.
So, who is ambushing us? It's the
I think
bandits.
I think the first one was the mountain bandits, but I think there are several other ambushes planned. Like each of them,
Wow.
like it's almost like it almost has a fairy tale like symmetry to it, where we will be ambushed 3 times, and each time the queen will give up something else.
Damn. Good.
So good.
No further questions.
Yeah, no, same.
Same.
Be careful about predictive engines.
Yeah! As well, it's me again.
It is you.
Beginning to suspect
Suspect
that
the journey
isn't
isn't
just about
just- What could it be?
Do you want to read it out?
Suspect this journey isn't just about diplomatic negotiations. What else do you believe is going on, and why? Suspect wisdom of crowds. I'm gonna pass on this one.
Oh.
Um, yeah, I'm gonna X card this one because I don't. I think Gideon still doesn't suspect anything.
Okay. What? Wow.
Queen is not my queen. Why do I serve her anyway? I think she is not mine. I am hers.
Oh, damn.
I don't think there is any like natural rule of constructs.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Oh, no, it's okay. To kind of revisit the wording of the question, why do you serve her anyway? Like, what do you, what like little doubt or conflict or something like gnaws at you, and yet you say, she's not mine, I am hers, and I serve her anyway.
I think for a long time there was just that nothing would have occurred. There's not something else that would have occurred to me to do than to serve in the purpose for which I was made. And now I think I serve because I want those answers.
Oh.
Once you're looking for answers,
What?
Well, if you're looking for answers, I think I know a person who could help you with this.
Yeah. No further questions.
Yeah, no further questions.
Lofty?
What? No, it's Kai. It's your turn, isn't it?
Oh, no. I didn't hear further questions. I might have.
No, I don't have any more further questions either. No, sorry.
Okay. All right. I did shuffle again. I have no idea what. Why do you think the queen trusts you enough to bring you on this journey? I think for a lot of the reasons already discussed. But there's probably also an element of our long history and the controls that were put on my contact with gosh, we really should have named locations at some point, but with my home, that I think she feels there is enough loyalty to her, but also enough of a desire to like see my home again, that I'll make that go smoothly. I won't mess it up with a third party. I won't mess it up because I don't want to arrive and like look incompetent. Like, she knows me for long enough to know my pride and all of that kind of stuff.
The queen was worried about any potential action that you might have taken, or do you think she's fully without doubts?
No, I don't think she's worried about anything in particular on my front for all the checks, for the reason of all the checks that I mentioned in the past and in the present.
Do you sometimes feel like the queen takes you for granted?
I think that's a pretty typical feeling to have. So I wouldn't want to say that's like a constant thought in my mind, but or like a frequent thought either. But I'm sure it's like surfaced on occasion. But it's not a big feature of our relationship or interaction.
Yeah, I'm good.
No further questions.
I'm good as well.
All right. It's 2 HP. Oh,
There is a false rumor about you and the queen back at the royal court. What is it? How did it start? I think nobody quite knows how. I think nobody now quite knows how Wisdom of Crowds was made. So there are a lot of lurid rumors about that.
like what? Like
And one in
trapped ghosts or
yeah, that sort of thing. Like that Wisdom of Crowds is herself haunted by all of the previous monarchs, which is true in a sense, but not in a literal one.
Huh.
So I think there is like so I think there is some kind of so I think the false rumor that exists about the Queen and Wisdom of Crowds is that Wisdom of Crowds is just kind of like a gestalt entity of all the previous monarchs before the Queen. And I think it's almost like and this is a false rumor. This is not actually the case. I think Wisdom of Crowds has like coexisted with the royal house for a long time, but isn't like in any way directly related to them.
Does Wisdom of Crowds know her own origin?
Yes, but she's not saying.
Okay. My follow-up was going to be, does she remember? But it sounds like yes.
Does she remember, or has she just got this knowledge from the knowledge that she otherwise has?
She has inferred it, yeah.
Oh.
And how did this rumor start? I think it's from. I think it's from. I think it's in a certain way from. I think it comes from. I think it comes from the way that when the Queen's mother died, Wisdom of Crowds like immediately became more attentive to the Queen. Like spent a lot more time answering her questions, like kind of almost bringing her up. But this was mostly because Wisdom of Crowds felt responsible, as opposed to like actually having some remnant of her mother in her. And also, like I think, I think like Wisdom of Crowds definitely uses she/her pronouns, and like I think the court wonders why that is.
Oh.
Where she has a higher degree of, she doesn't have a higher degree of personhood than Gideon, for example, but she has like a kind of very respected status that you wouldn't really accord just like a machine. She's like treated as an oracle, as like a almost like a venerated part of the family. So I think a lot of people
A
distrust
matriarch, kind of.
crowds. You know, like a great aunt, basically. In fact, that might have been like one of the. In fact, that might have been what the old queen called Wisdom of Crowds too, grandmother, because she never knew her actual one.
Hmm. No further questions.
Then for
Me neither.
Okay.
How does the Queen remind you of her status while on the journey? I think she reminds all of us of her status by holding herself in the same like level of she's above us that she does in the court. She's She keeps her own tent. She travels in her own palanquin. She wears the fine robes. But I think she reminds Lim that she's the queen by specifically asking about the same things that she does when she's back in the court. Of like, nobody else asks Lim about the land they walk on and to certain how does where certain crops be grown, or does this require this husbandry or whatever. The Queen continues asking these questions even while they are on the journey, and it's both soothing and I think it's just soothing to be reminded that, because when in this region, similarly to just a general member of the civilian. It's just a general person. But here it's treated like part of the land. And the Queen doesn't stop doing this even as they travel through other lands, whilst others still treat it like it is just a person. Yeah, so it's sort of not really. Whoops. That's reminding the Queen, reminding Lynn that the Queen is the Queen. But otherwise, yeah, former answer about she keeps her own council. She travels in her own station and wears the robes and eats the food of royalty.
They should make a show of it.
Queen. I don't think so. I'm thinking about this in relation to the kindnesses that she does when she's committed a cruelty, and she doesn't draw attention to that. That's just an aspect of who she is, and I think it's similar with her status. She doesn't draw attention to it. It's just the role I will fill, and therefore I do these things. So no more than the actions already carry their own import and status and impressions. Attention.
Yeah, no further questions.
Yeah, no further from me.
None from me.
Okay. We've got so little time.
What makes the Queen ugly in my I think that I just have very little aesthetic appreciation for what humans look like. I think that the way that she adorns her makes it looks like she is aspiring to be something like how I was made. Just the shape of the jewelry, especially the collar, if we're looking at the actual Queen portrait. It looks like she's looking to be something like the construct that I am, or the sarcophagus that Wisdom of Crowds carried, or something like that. And so I think it's a very literal answer about that.
Is there anything that is beautiful in your eyes?
I think that she moves with a grace that I am not capable of. And that I don't think much of the guards that I work with and train with have. Because I think we all, I move with this, with a very utilitarian movement, and I think that the guards tend to move like soldiers. Whereas I think that she moves with the regality and grace of someone trained to move about in skirts and cape and
like in the halls of power.
Yeah, but also just of someone who trained like that by tutors.
Hmm. I think no further, partly because of time.
Mhm.
No further questions.
Okay.
Yeah, no further questions.
Perfect.
All right. Yep. When I saw that the shuffle was this close, I just stopped. I actually counted wrong, and I thought it was going. I thought I thought Nora was going to draw it, but that's okay. So we have drawn. The queen is under attack. Do you defend her? So I guess it comes to me first. And the answer is, of course, I do. I don't know what form the attack takes. If you think it might be your second or one of your further ambushes, HB, you should jump in and say.
I think this is the second ambush.
Okay.
Mm.
Like, do you know who did it?
I think it's not the mountain bandits anymore. I think in this case it is. I think in this case it is probably. I'm thinking this ambush is done by some form of petty nobility back from the kingdom.
Huh.
Like they are they just see this as the optimum time for a betrayal.
Nice. So yeah, I definitely defend against these. I don't know, probably like relatively similar to the guards that the queen has. Defend against them, probably in a similar way to in the slug situation. What about wisdom of crowds? Do you defend her?
Hmm. I think I do in a sense. Because what happens is that when the attack basically hits, I think the elephant that carries wisdom of crowds panics because she is very uncomfortable in the mountains. And I think she makes a run for it with wisdom of crowds on board. And I think the result of this is that there's several things happen at once, which is that first of all, an elephant rampages through the nearby area, and then there is something like and then there's presumably some kind of I don't want to say an avalanche, like a strictly smaller version of an avalanche. Just like maybe part of the mountainside crumbles, and I think by the time the dust settles, the attackers are thrown into disarray, and both Wisdom of Crowds and the elephant are nowhere to be seen.
Huh.
This is the second of the three conditions.
All right. What about Lofty? Does Lim defend the queen?
Again, it's yeah, of course. She no. Lim has been promised this land, this liminal land, which will allow it to stay in its home whilst also retaining its individuality. That's contingent on the queen surviving. Nothing has changed on this journey to stop stop Lim from wanting to protect the queen. I think it's similar to the guards as well, but also it attacks with the land itself. The land beneath the attacker's feet grows muddy quicker than expected. Grass grows up quicker to stop them, and yeah, I think it does protect them.
And Gideon.
Of course. This is what I was made for. And I think it's I don't know if you've seen him fight before, but I think it's gruesome. I don't think that he has a sword. I just hits with his arm and kicks with his feet. I think it is just bludgeoning force.
Oh, yeah. This is one of those times where there's so much more story, but it is also kind of satisfying to have so many things to wonder about. I think that's a good place to leave it.
Not just because we've already got 5 minutes left.
Partially just because we've only got 5 minutes left, but also because I do like that we can each come up with what we want and we can talk about it or not, but we set up a lot of really cool stuff. So in 5 minutes, I do believe it's Adela going to be running Good Society, and that will be happening right here after a little pause and changeover. But for this session of the Roll Plus Bond anniversary, I have been Kai. I'm at Alpha39 on Twitter, the number 3, the word 9, and I've been joined by Lofty.
I'm Lofty. I am Inclined Light on Twitter.
And also by Nora.
I'm Nora. I am Nora Reed on Twitter.
And HB.
I'm HB. You can. I am Bother Shelf on Twitter, and I'm glad that you took the time to really combinatorially arrange your names.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, so thanks everyone who has been watching. We're going to put the music on for a little break, and you can enjoy that by at Devin Decibel on Twitter. If you do !music in the Twitch chat, you can get a link to his Bandcamp. And as for the rest, yeah, please donate
what are you
to
playing?
Rices if you've got a minute. Huh? Oh my god. Well, you have remembered, so why don't you say?
We've been playing For the Queen by... I can only remember Muscular Pikachu on Twitter, unfortunately.
Alex Roberts.
Alex Roberts, HB
Alex
with the
Roberts,
save
great.
again.
Thank you, HB. Yeah, it's fantastic. The art is wonderful.
Oh, all the different art is great. And yeah, so we're going to turn it back over, and thanks everyone for watching.
We did it.